Hi everyone, very good afternoon to everyone. So my name is Eric Morris. I'm the Senior Product Manager here at Intelex for Applications, and Management of Change is one of the applications that I service. The webinar for today will cover critical elements for mastering change. I wanted to start this webinar and before I get into the real meat of it, I just wanted to discuss briefly why we do this management of change thing and why is management of change important. As we all know, history is littered with examples of industrial disasters that have root in poorly planned maintenance and change process. A few examples come to mind. I think we can all think about examples like Piper Alpha, Flixborough, Bhopal, and Chernobyl. And the unfortunate part is that the impacts of these disasters are not only localized to the immediate areas surrounding the disaster sites, but many of these events have wide-ranging and even global impacts. I have a picture up on screen, and that essentially shows a model of the radiation cloud about a week after the Chernobyl disaster. As we can see, an event that occurred in the Ukraine had wide-ranging impacts in most of Western Europe, in the Middle East, and some parts of northern Canada. But these events are not just limited to industries handling hazardous materials, or as we in the industry like to call it, dirty industries. A large number of product defects also find root in product enhancement efforts or process changes. In most cases, all you will end up with is a burned up pixel on your flat screen or a defective laundry machine. But in more critical systems, the impacts can be far more serious. You can think of examples like an overheating battery on an airline, a contaminated drug due to a new supplier of bulk material, or an insulin pump that delivers the wrong dose of insulin due to software malfunctions. And the problem is not just limited to manufacturing either. We at Intelex, like all software vendors, experience change every day. And when we plan our product enhancements, we make a serious effort to ensure that any improvements we make do not negatively affect existing functionality, a condition we in the industry call regression. So we've seen in the recent past more and more demand for systems that handle changes and ensure that changes are executed in the safest possible way. Our customers have come to us to develop systems that would enable their internal change process, and as a consequence of this, they've also asked us to come up with a set of best practice based on our experience in the industry. Most of our customers, especially those coming from the dirty industries like the oil and gas and the mining industry, they come to us because they have requirements that arise out of OSHA process safety management, and essentially because they deal with hazardous material. But we also have customers coming to us to develop change management systems that ensure that any product changes they make in their process or in their products go also through the appropriate levels of scrutiny before they're released to the public. We also get customers coming to us asking us to build systems that ensure that any organizational changes they make are communicated properly and steps are taken to ensure business continuity. And finally, we have customers coming to us to ensure that any supplier changes they make for process materials are properly assessed and any risks that come out of them, out of these changes, are mitigated appropriately. So in response to our customers, we've actually built an MOC software system to address the need of change management. But even more important than the actual software system are the best practices that accompany and are built into the system as a whole. And this is what I will talk about here. So just a bit of understanding to just kind of describe what we describe as a system. When we describe a system, we essentially think about it in terms of being a combination of software, people, and best practices. We can't have one without the other. So this leads me into the meat of today's discussion. I'll be talking about some critical requirements for mastering change. I'll be covering some best practices, including how to properly design things like workflows, how to appropriately assign roles, how to screen changes that come through the system, risk management, and tasking. So the first thing I want to talk about is the workflow. So a critical and important part of a change management system is a well-defined and communicated workflow.